This guy is one of the best. Let's kick off for the Australians. Australians enjoying possession. Surely
Test. Okay.
Percy Montgomery gets the chance to kick it deep.
Percy gets the chance to kick it deep off that penalty. And it's going to be a South African line out on the 22.
What a cracking first half there, Chris.
It was, Mike. I mean, extremely physical. What we expect from a classic final. These two teams, you know, undefeated obviously to get to this point, and they certainly don't want to go home empty-handed. So, all to play for 35 minutes on the clock.
Only one try separating them in 35 minutes.
Yeah, and the South Africans have been playing pretty clever, actually. They're not throwing it around particularly. They throw it around when they've actually created something. But at this point here, for instance, defences are lined up against each other. They're not just going to throw it out wide. They're going to take it up the middle, as we see. And now, once they get on the front foot, they'll kick it. But, oh, it's been a turnover here. And here's some danger. Oh! Australian fly hacks it, but misses. That was James Herbert missing that kick, but out it comes out wide. And they're dangerous out wide, the Australians.
Haven't you been impressed with the tempo of the game?
I have. I mean,
for over 35s to be playing at this tempo, and we're now 3 minutes into the second half, and it's been end-to-end action.
Yeah, well, and you've also got to take into account that they played two other games this week, you know, in a week. This is the third game in a week, and most rugby players will play one game a week. They'll play one in one weekend, and they'll play one in the following weekend.
And you're still sore.
And very sore. I mean, literally, you get to the point where you're sort of just recovering from the previous game, and you're strapping on your boots for the next game. But to have played a game midweek as well for over 35s, and a lot of these boys won't have played for quite a long time. The body's just not conditioned to that sort of abuse.
Well, you couldn't tell it from what I'm watching tonight.
Well, these guys are top athletes.
They're giving their all out there tonight, Chris.
Yeah, we do have an injury right now, and one of the Australians is helped to his feet. It looks like he's damaged his left arm somehow, maybe his shoulder. And that could be the end of his evening. So it's a shame to see. Yep, his arms and sleeve might have separated his shoulder or something like that. And clearly in a bit of pain, and I think that's his night over, and that's a shame. No one likes to see an injury in rugby, even though they are unfortunately fairly commonplace. Luckily they got good medical staff, and he will be seen to. But you can see the anguish on his face. Just not happy to leave the field. You know, he's a competitor. So out it comes. It's Brad Fiddler. Oh, he's made a clean break. That was their rugby league star passing out. Out it comes. Ooh. Australian number 22.
Yeah, that was Nathan Williams with the injured arm going off.
Okay, the Australians enjoying a little bit of possession. If they can get over now, Mike, game on, I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
As a neutral, I want the Australians to get over this line. I think they've scored that. That is a try, isn't it?
No official word from the
No, they're
referee.
5 meters short. That's my mistake. That's the 5 meter line, not the try line. But the referee has given a penalty to Australia. Great work by the Australians.
5 meters shy.
Brad Fiddler making a clean break. Dishing the ball off to, I think, his inside centre. Peter Playford. Well, Brad Fittler actually playing at inside centre, so it would have been his fullback coming in off his shoulder. All right. That's a nice long pass. Oh, that's a lovely play. He's got the wheels and he's in.
He's in.
Try time. The speedster.
I would have thought they would have went to Riley, but they went over Riley's head.
Yeah, they skipped it. That's Damon Murphy. That boy has been electrical all week. And one of the smallest, youngest guys on the Australian team beats Percy Montgomery, the South African legend, with a nice skip pass by Brad Fittler, skipping 2 players.
And we're back on level terms.
Fantastic.
Game on. Game on.
That is just what this game needed, and that's just what the crowd enjoyed. You saw the reaction from the crowd as he scored. They knew he'd scored. They knew he'd scored before we knew, so that was fantastic. If we can get a replay of that, that'd be lovely. That skip pass. See if my technical department can work on that replay.
Yep. While Riley's attempting the kick from far on the right side there, it's going to take quite an effort to get that in.
Yeah, not an easy kick at all, but this is for the lead.
It's...
No, well right.
Off target. So 5-5. With
5-5, and we'll try to get that replay to you.
28.5 minutes remaining in the second half.
This will definitely lift the Australian spirit. We'll see how the South Africans come back to it. Percy Montgomery does a little dummy kick without a ball. On it comes. There you go, Percy. Oh, one ballon. 102 capped South African legend kicks off. Out it comes. Ooh, a wild pass there. Puts him under a little bit of pressure. AJ Venter cleans up. He's a hard man, but he's brought down quite comfortably in the end. Egon Seconds hanging out here, number 14, but this is Jordan, the scrum half, out to Percy Montgomery, sends it out wide. Nice long pass, there's some space. Murphy tackles him nicely, the try scorer. A little bit scrappy out there. Percy under a bit of pressure, flaps it back. And Percy Montgomery playing scrum half temporarily. Oh, nice take. Bet Barry taking it in field there. Jordan taking his time, the scrum half, number 9 on his back. Try scorer. Out to Percy.
Oh, deflection.
Charge down though.
Whistle goes.
Ref, and it was a knock on as well. And Brad Fittler, a little disappointed. Saw a little bit of space, number 19 for Australia.
And we have Keith Hutchkins, president of the Bermuda Rugby Football Union. Really helped organize, well, after playing earlier tonight against Atlanta, helped organize the, I think it's under 18s, is it? Under 17 sevens?
Yeah, Keith's been a busy man this evening and a busy man all week. Organising the youth and also playing, putting on the boots.
Yep.
And,
so we'll have a little bit of commentary from Chris and Keith for a while here.
Good evening, Chris. Exciting. 5-5.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has made a game of it. That early score in the second half by the Australian team.
Well, their defense is just awesome tonight. Both teams.
Both teams, absolutely. I mean, you see the contact going in right now, and there isn't much space, even for a player like AJ Venter with the ball in his hands right now. This guy is a seasoned in Springbok, and he's not finding much space out in this field. Loose pass.
Yeah, they may be
here's the speedster, and this is try time.
No, never going to catch him. Number 21. The 7 specialist.
He gets his second try in about 3 minutes. Damon Murphy given an opportunity to run it in, and that's exactly what he does.
They've really defended well around the fringes. The big men held the South African at the gain line most of the night. And like you said, a little pressure, a little drop ball, and off they go. It's good to see the Australians doing well this year. I know they've brought quite a young team this year. A little controversy there, but no different than any of the other classic teams, I don't think.
Yeah, and you know, it's about time the Australians showed up, if you like. You know, Australia are a world power of rugby, and they haven't been that great. In their classic history is not that great.
Well, they don't make their tour very easy by starting off with a night in New York before they hit our shores.
Well, yeah, true.
I mean,
but that's their fault.
But you know, speaking to their manager this evening, and he said, you know, for the first time ever, they were all in bed at 1 o'clock in the morning last night. They had a big barbecue at Mad Hatter's, and they were all gone. He was the only one left, and he's like, "Oh, these guys really want this."
They really want it. They were in bed by 1 o'clock.
Well, you know,
they are on tour. Oh, he's nailed it as well.
Andrew Johns.
Andrew Johns, rugby league legend.
Yeah, highest point scorer, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. When he left rugby league, he was the highest point scorer in rugby league history. I mean, the man is a legend, quite literally.
He's saying who's with him on the right there. Percy Montgomery to kick off, restart for the South Africans, put it deep into the Australian territory. Set up well by the Australians. Hopefully they keep attacking and don't go into a defensive mode here.
I don't think they can afford to be honest. If they try to play tight, they're going to lose against the Springboks.
Good deep kick over the head of number 18 in the middle of the cricket wicket.
AJ Venter back there.
Venter. Percy Montgomery using the wind. That's a beautiful kick. It's got to be 50 yards. Spin wide. This is the best player for the Australian team by far.
Yeah, Pat Riley. It's not the best kick though.
No, that
straight
was
down AJ Venter. Oh, AJ! You
off
made a
the
mess
side of his boot, and the cricket wicket catches another one. I tell you, we were playing tonight, and like we had backline moves called. It was like, okay, run straight up the middle. There is no sidestep on that cricket wicket.
Yeah, it is a bit like an ice rink. It has to be said. So.
Yeah, it was fun having the youngsters there at before the game for 10 minutes straight playing sevens rugby.
I'll tell you what, Stephen Edwards,
he is
a star of the future.
He's going to be, hopefully his teachers fly half. He's turning 17 and he should be starting for teachers. I would put him there for the rest of the year. You might lose your spot, Chris.
I've got no problem losing it to youngsters.
Yeah, if there's one young Bermudian who I'm looking out for, and maybe we'll get some tryouts overseas, it's him.
Yeah, what was it that the Aussie said about his frame? He's a skinny lad, but
you can hang meat off of that. And
yeah, there's plenty of time to hang some meat off him.
That's correct.
I like that phrase, and it's very true of that young man. He stands at 6'2" or something like that.
But he's got real pace, and it's deceiving pace. You don't notice it, but not many guys can track him down once he's through the gap.
Yeah, no, definitely a star of the future, Stephen Edwards, one of the young Bermudians on show this evening before this game.
Here we go. South African spinning the ball wide, using the widths. So going the same side. Bobby Skinstad. Stolen by the Australians. Oh, there's a penalty there. That man was on the offside position at the ruck.
Yeah, well, the South Africans, they've got plenty of strength and power themselves. I mean, earlier on in the week, Vin Meyer and Werner Grief and Egon Seconds, they've all enjoyed some space out on the wing, and you know they're not afraid to throw it out to their wingers either. We've talked about the Australian speed, but the South Africans have got some speed
they've got some good pace
there
as well. What's impressed me tonight is the Australians have taken them on up front, and you know, if you look at the South African pack, they are a bigger group of 8 in total size. But the Australians have a few guys in there have been putting in huge hits and driving them back off the ball. And you've got the number 6 playing out in the centers here. What's his name for Australia? He's putting some massive hits tonight.
Yeah, that's Jay Havalou. He's
here he is with the ball now, and he is not afraid to take that ball up.
One of Australia's Polynesian cousins, and yeah, Jay Havalou. He's
there you go, Matt Dunning on the ball,
big strong boy,
setting it up. Ball's clear. South Africans off the line very quickly, but that's good strength by number 2. Australians keeping it tight now, taking them on up front. Ball's loose. Out wide.
Oh,
that's a steal. Bobby Skinstad away.
Bobby's going to make it? I don't think so.
He's got support. It's a good offload.
Out to Jordan.
Oh, good covering defense. Look at the Australians get back in numbers. Kept the ball in. It's still alive in the corner. They've got numbers on the left if they can get it out wide.
They've got huge numbers on the left.
There might be a penalty here, and there might be a card.
It could well be a card because that was pretty deliberate, slowing down that ball. The referee is not happy at all.
I think there might be a man marching to the sin bin. Turn around, wants to see his number.
I think it's the Australian hooker, Andrew Cody, number 2, is having a word. He is lucky to be remaining on that park. Pretty deliberate, slowing down that ball. Bobby Skinser having a word, trying to convince the referee, hey, get him off. It was a great pickup by Bobby Skinser off that loose pass.
Well, the penalty's actually gone for Australia, funny enough.
I have no idea what that was for.
That is unusual, I think.
Maybe over-eagerness at the ruck going off their feet, but to me, why were the South Africans
we can't second guess the referee. We don't have a replay, and so Australians with the penalty and clearing kick.
Keith, I can second guess any referee. That's what I do.
You've done that a lot with me in the past, but that's a good clearing kick. He just made 40 meters to the halfway line. That was an unbelievable cover defense by the Australians. Bobby Skinset stole that ball, had a clear run into the line, and the Aussies got back in more numbers than the South Africans.
Shows how much they want it.
I would have put my money on Skinset making it all the way to the line there.
Well, I mean, he had to outpace the speedy Australian back. So
he had a 10-yard head start, though.
True, but...
Put that one back. Here we go. Here's the big man, number 6.
Jay Havilu takes it in. Tackled by the smallest guy in the park, Norman Jordan. Try scorer and scrum half for the Springboks. Here's Andrew Johns.
Johns playing for permission. That wasn't a great kick, though.
No,
nobody's at home. Oh, yes, there is.
Egon seconds. Kicks it nice. That's a nice kick as well.
He's not going to do it. Oh, yes, he has. He has thrown the quick one. That's outside the 22, so it must bounce into touch.
No, I think
was it inside the 22?
Yeah.
Oh, my mistake.
Showing your refereeing instincts there, Keith.
Yep.
That's a line out to the Springboks on the halfway line.
We've got 17 minutes to go, plenty of time.
There's only one try in it.
Yep, one try and a conversion. It's interesting that number 6 has been dropped into the midfield all night for the Australian team.
Yeah, he's a pretty big plug for that gap, isn't he?
Yes, and he just
mashed someone just there.
Yeah, that's 5 yards behind the gain line. Yeah. Again, like I said, it's very difficult to play go forward rugby when you're being
another
stopped.
Good hit. Andrew Johns goes in, one of their smallest players, but he's suffering there. Number 17, that hurt him.
Yeah, but again, another tackle behind the gain line there. And look at the Australians come up in numbers.
Flapped out wide.
South Africa going backwards at this point. Ball's at the back of the ruck, picked up by number 9. He's got some space.
Jordan's been one of their star players this year. I don't know much about him, but he has played some good rugby this week.
Here they go. They got numbers here on the right. See if they can use them. They're still going to try and punch some holes up the middle of that Australian defense. These players must be exhausted at this point in the match after such a long week. That's a great inside pass.
Counter ruck, though, by the Australians. There's hands in that, referee.
Oh. A little bit of afters there by the South African team. Just letting them know, don't take the ball away from me.
Yeah. So here we go on the screen right now is Bobby Skinser. He picked up that ball nicely, but he was well tackled. Desperately looking for some support. He couldn't outpace that.
It's a textbook tackle. But the offload here was great, and there were numbers out right. And you'll see Andrew Johns comes across here in cover defense.
This is Norman Jordan picking that ball up, and they're going to attack on the right-hand wing here.
And you see the numbers come across.
Australian defense scrambling here. Still in South African possession. And the Australians come over here.
And then they are defense.
Simba looking for his man. Little loop around.
We need to get back to the live action now. South Africa have a line out.
And they just mash him into touch.
Just inside the 22 of the Australians. Going to set up a maul here and try and drive. Here we go. The maul's moving to the left. Well, they're throwing the numbers into this maul.
Yeah, number 24 is actually what their British line import, I should say, David Cockery. He's got his hands on the ball at the back of that driving maul right now.
Still going forward. It's still
Irish back rower playing for the Springboks this evening. Still got it in his hands, I believe.
He's taking advantage for collapsing the maul.
Taking the time, they're being patient. Jordan digs out that ball. Out it goes. Oh, it's been knocked forward.
It's coming back for the penalty. 10 yards out. South Africa will have a penalty.
Andrew Johns, unfortunately, limping off there, the Australian playmaker. Looks like a reoccurrence of his dead leg. And that is a shame. The game's going to be it's going to lose one of its star players.
Yeah, for the last 15 minutes. I'm not sure he'll be coming back from that. He's had a good influence on this game, made some good hard tackles. His conversion's a key point right now.
Absolutely.
South Africa get a try here. What's interesting is most of the crowd here have no idea who that man is who's walking down the sideline.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
I know. It's so true.
If we were in Australia right now, that guy couldn't walk anywhere without getting an autograph.
Oh, I know. I feel like a fan. I should go and get a photo with him or something. Here we go. Bobby Skinner at the back of that scrum.
They can go. That's a good tackle. They're setting up the maul again. This is going to be their strength for the rest of the game. It's a maul. It's a back. That guy's coming around the back of that maul.
I would say I would say Australia infringed there big time. I mean, they came in from the side. There's no way that was legal. Referee, as is classic rugby, they let a few things go, but if I was South African, I'd be a little bit upset with that.
Well, as we discussed the other night, teams elect not to take penalties in the Classic, but if teams are infringing, you need to kick the points, and that keeps them honest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, you're right.
And otherwise the refs got to just dish out yellow cards more quickly. And
yeah, no, I think you're right there because
that's a good line-out take.
If the Australians know that the goodwill of the South Africans would not kick points, then yes, you're exactly right. They'll just infringe. But here is a great driving ball by the South Africans.
Australians drive that back over the top.
It's a pretty good counter maul.
There the balls come to the back. Knocked on by South Africa. Put into the scrum is going to be for the Australian team. That's good defense.
You can see how happy Brad Fiddler is there.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle of your screen is number 19 there. He's very pleased with that effort by the forwards. And with this uncontested scrum, it gives them a perfect platform for Pat Riley or one of their kickers to clear their lines.
Yeah, that's the South African dominance is in that line out and those rolling mauls. We've seen that going around the fringes hasn't been easy for them tonight.
Yeah, Matt Dunning leaves the field. He's taking a bang to his head or his hip or something like that.
He's looking for his Mars bar.
Oh, you said it, not me.
How many times have we said that this week? He's a good lad. These guys are going to have such a great night tonight, no matter whether they win or lose. We got 3,000 people who've come out to enjoy the night, and they'll all celebrate with them. That's a great clearing kick. Look at the pace of the winger here, putting pressure.
Egon seconds underneath this, takes it well. Pat Riley misses the tackle, but
there we go.
Okay.
Australians just relieved 20 yards of pressure.
No, he's come through there, and yep, the referee's not happy. Neither is Norman Jordan, their scrum half.
Australians need to get back 10. It's going to be a long 11 minutes for the Australians.
And Simba putting it out for a line out. Yes, you're right. 11 minutes left on the clock. The Aussies have to defend here.
Go, that line out's been working well. They've been going to the back. It hasn't been too much contesting by the Australians. I think they're trying to sack the line out. You have the opportunity to bring the guy. Oh, there they go. They knocked that back off the line out. That's going to be a scrum down.
A little bit loose that was, but...
Oh, yep, scrum down on the 15 yards to the South Africans.
Yeah, the Australians were successful in stealing that ball and making a mess of their South African line-out, but it results in a South African scrum, which is almost a better platform for the South Africans to attack from.
So we got DeWitt Barry out there, number 12. Is he going to make a punching run up the midfield? Trying to set up his backs out wide.
Yeah, he's certainly someone that you have to defend against. I mean, give him the ball, he's going to go forward. Out it comes.
There we go. It's exactly what I called. Must be.
You must know something about rugby. Out it comes.
If I had to wet Barry on my team, I'd be using him a lot. Knocked on, 5 yards out.
Oh my goodness.
It's exactly what he wanted to do, though. He made it to the 5-yard line. If they had quick ball, they had numbers out on the left. Would have been a certain try. Again, they need to make touch on this clearing kick. That's 29's going up. Fullback's covering across. Left foot. Not a great kick.
Not a good kick at all. Egon seconds.
Oh, good side step. Lost the
knocked
ball.
that ball forward.
Ref, I don't think the ref's seen it though.
No, he says he's gone backwards. A little bit fortunate. If you ask me.
Not many South African numbers there. They're all on the ground. There's only 5 people on their feet in the back line against the entire Australian team. They've had to commit a lot of numbers to these breakdowns to win the ball back. We go, number 19.
It's pretty good defense.
It's a good clean out. Here comes a quick ball. Well, that's a great pickup. They're going back to the basic South African rugby. Pick and go, strong around the fringes. It's another great clean out. I don't think the backs are going to see this ball anytime soon. Here they go, number 8. Oh, good tackle. But again, Australia have the numbers in the backs defending. And come down. Oh, that's fun. We have a few South African fans with us up in the box. A lot of pressure, 7 minutes to go. It's been a yellow wall tonight, I think. And led by number 6.
Yeah, Jay Havilu. It's been a dominant man in defence, but on comes Bobby Skinster, number 7, their talisman. Having a quick word with his team.
I'm just in the announcement booth.
They've got to. It's an Australian down at the moment, receiving some attention.
I will. Okay. All right.
It's going to be an Australian scrum, and they're going to clear their lines. But 7 minutes left of the clock.
The clock's still running. I'm surprised they don't stop the clock here. So we have to remember there's going to be a few minutes of injury time put onto this game. Probably a minute and a half for this injury. This guy's obviously taken a pretty nasty knock to the head. Or he's just not that good looking, really.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Norman Jordan.
Here we go. Oh, that's a crossing.
I would say that's crossing. Yep, it is.
That's a clear penalty. He came across. He took out 2 defenders.
Egon seconds thought he'd scored, but there was crossing there in midfield.
Yeah, it's a good call by the referee. He needed to just release that ball a little bit earlier, and then it wouldn't have been a problem. So here we go. Our star player for the Aussies is going to be kicking the touch. Nice little kick. He's got a very interesting kicking style when he kicks that. Kind of spins it off his hands, not like...
well, it's Aussie rules, isn't
it?
Yes. It's a bit similar to Aussie rules.
It'd be good to learn how to do that.
It's effective for him.
Good clean out by the South Africans. There's an advantage there for coming around the side.
Oh, Norman Jordan taking too long at the back of that ruck, and he got nailed by the Australian.
He's not playing the advantage, so he's obviously set advantage to come. Australia need to roll away. South Africa need quick ball. Oh, that's a good clean out.
Nice clean out. Out it comes.
The Australian back line up quickly.
Cole to seconds. No space for Egon seconds out there. On the left side, he's moved over from his right wing to the left wing. But Norman Jordan has it under control there.
Again, here comes the
Cole.
Australian.
Oh,
Yeah.
AJ just gets his hands in the wrong place. AJ Venter, I think that.
Really, they're running
No, I
out of
apologize, it
ideas
wasn't
here, Chris.
AJ.
But you know, if you see that Australian defense running up, they're only leaving the fullback alone at the back. Maybe a little grubber or a chip over the top could exploit the defense of the Aussies.
Yeah.
The only way to counter a rush defense is to use the boot.
It wasn't AJ, it was Jake Burr that made that knock on there. I apologize to AJ Venter. So the Aussies haven't really had much ball at all in the last 15 minutes.
James
Pat
Hebert
Riley
just
decides
passing
to-
that ball out to the right, number 15, playing scrum half right now for the Australian team. He's an Australian sevens specialist, and I understand that he's 21 years of age.
Really?
Yes, that's what he told me the other night. They snuck him in.
No way.
When you meet him, you'll see.
Okay. Well, he certainly runs like a 21-year-old.
Yes.
I do give him that, but and he looks pretty darn young. But
Yeah, he's 20. He's 21.
well, how
And-
did he get that? How
Well,
did they get away with
I
that?
don't think they did any passport checks this year.
Oh,
Here we go. Good defense again by the Australians. And look at the back line they've got already. Nobody home. That's a great kick. Just a number of big lock. Oh, nice step. Just turned the
That's very
sevens
well.
player inside out. Ball just pops out of there. It was a massive offside by the South African defense, but he went the other side and the ref didn't see it. Here we go. Big run up the middle by number 24. Number 9 for the Springboks. Oh, it's a stolen. Here we go. It goes to the 7 specialist again. He chips and chases to the corner. It goes straight out into touch. There's going to be a lineup for the Springboks on the far side, just outside the 22, in between the 22 and the halfway line. South Africans try to take the quick one, but referee calls it back, said the ball touched the crowd. You can't do that. So 2 minutes to go. South Africa have no choice but to run this ball, keep it in hand, and try and make it down to the other end. The Australian defense has been tough all night, so it's going to be a tough task.
Yeah, Keith, I
There
think
we go. Stolen by Australia. There's a penalty for closing the gap in the line out. So South Africa have one more chance. It's a free kick. They must run this ball. It's not a penalty. Here we go.
it's going to be a tall order, Keith, for them to pull this off with 1.5 minutes or 90 seconds remaining.
That is correct. It might be a little bit longer because there might be some injury time that we're not aware of.
Okay.
Probably a minute or two.
Yep. But the Wallabies, I believe, are well on their way for their first title.
Well, yes, and they deserve it. If you look at the defense, they've defended remarkably well this tournament against a really, really good South African team. This is not a weak Springbok team at all, and they have the defense has driven them back on many occasions.
Oh, yeah. The Aussies really hungry tonight. Less than
Again,
a minute to
they're
go.
behind the gain line, 5 yards back. But they're defending sensibly. They're only sending 1 or 2 into those contact situations and leaving numbers out wide to ensure there's no gaps there at all. Just about 30 seconds left on the clock.
And
Here we go. There's a bit of a break.
Australia still leading 12-5. They're seconds away from their first ever World Rugby Classic title.
Here we go. The wet Barry.
Oh, look at this. A deflection.
Oh, massive high tackle. Yeah, it was foul play. It was a high tackle. They're good. I'm sure there must be some injury time.
Oh yeah, should be a few.
Not tonight. No, there's 2 minutes to go.
Two. Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 minutes to go. It's not over yet, but they're actually. I think they're actually going to take the kicks and take the points, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of the classic teams decide not to take points because they say it's not part of the game. But if people are infringing, you really need to take your points to keep them honest. Otherwise, it's up to the referee to keep them honest at the breakdown.
Well, O'Reilly makes it good.
There's the 3 points. So now it's going to be a 10-point game with 2 minutes to go. It's really not a probability or very likely that South Africa's going to be able to get back here. They'll have to score immediately off this kickoff.
I think this is all she wrote, Keith.
You never say never in rugby.
I think this one's over, though.
Well, it's good to spread the wealth and see a new team take the title. I know Australia were out of the tournament for a number of years. And since they come back, they've been building a team. That's a great, here we go. Great knockback. He's got to keep that ball alive. That's a good, knocked on. That's going to put them under some pressure. But this guy's their star player. He's had a great tournament, Riley. And this number 7 is going to kick it deep, and it's going to be a sprint. There's nobody home to help the South African. He's going to kick it into touch. And that's it. Australia are the winners of the 2012 World Rugby Classic.
What a week it has been.
Good job, you guys.
Finally, the icing on the cake for the Wallabies here at the National Sports Center. It's been a long wait, 25 years in fact, for them to win their first title. And they finally achieved it here with a 15-5 victory over the South African Springboks. And what a week of rugby it has been.
Yeah, it's a fantastic week. They won that with pure defensive effort and determination and with some wheels on the outside. Their winger, he's a younger player, but he's so fast. Scored a couple tries there. And he'd probably be the most valuable man of the match, I would assume. Good crowd tonight, Mike. Really nice atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, standing room only.
One of the nicest events in Bermuda. There's never any issues. The crowd is just a fun-loving crowd. They love their rugby. And hopefully with more years to come, we'll get more Bermudians down here watching, involved in this. And we'll do it all again next year.
Sure. Let's recap the night's activities here, Keith. Atlanta Renegades 20-5 over Bermuda. Then it was France in an unexpected shutout, 17-zip over Canada in the plate final. And then, of course, the championship proper, 15-5, moments ago finishing with Australia, capping off their first ever World Rugby Classic title. We want to say a special thanks to HSBC, our major sponsor. We want to say a special thanks to Alvin Harvey and Chris Naylor, the commentators, and, of course, to you, Keith. Wonderful working with you guys all week. And it has truly been a blessing in disguise for me because I've picked up some of the finer points of the game. So I thank you indeed for that. And for those of you who are unable to get up here, Bermuda Sports Network, ever so proud to bring it to you, especially those of you on the internet overseas. And with that, we're just about to close it out here from the National Sports Center. Attempt to secure a few TV interviews. But what a week of rugby it has been. The 25th World Rugby Classic on BSN.
Land to go. All right. You guys are wild.
wanna go home. Bermuda, Bermuda, Bermuda. Look, Captain, gets drunk every time he can.
This elephant.
He's always down the just Happy and me. He kicks us around. He kicks us around.
These aren't church songs.
When I feel so fucked up,
This is
Bermuda.
Bermuda. Woo!